Welcome. This is the Ends Justify the Memes, the Lord's Day edition, the 8th day, the day of new birth and new life. That is where the lowest of the low, the most wretched of wretched, and deplorable to end all deplorables, you, the viewers, can chime in the conversation. I'll be your host, Bill, and this is my producer and co-host, Tank. Today we are joined with our friend Kizza GT. Whoa. So, you all call in without fear and lend us your ear because the ends always justify the memes. Hey guys, and if you do call in, don't forget to go full semi-auto.
Why not full auto?
So I've explained this every time we do it, but explain it again. The link should be in the description. If they're not, it's because Tank hasn't done it, and I have to do it right now.
I put it in the chat. I always put it in the chat.
Okay. Well, I'll get it in the description real quick. And in any case, there'll be a link there. We're not sure how we are going to conduct this. We've talked about it time and again. But essentially, you guys can call in. We want to kind of give it a time limit if a lot of people are trying to call in. And we have the right to reserve to kick you out at any point, at any time. Or to deny you. And so right now, I think we're going to keep it to, or try to keep it to, people who are we know, right? And the stream. Is that what we agreed upon, Tank?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, for now. So I will link all of that up. Give me one moment here.
Live editing.
Yeah. At any point as well, guys, we could always go over memes and stuff. I have all the memes because I spend too much time every week finding memes. And there are just ridiculous amounts of leftovers every week. So it gets hard to pare down the memes to 100 or so or less. And I try to actually keep it under 100 because it can take a long time to get through them otherwise. All right, that should be set. So if anyone is not watching this, is watching this live and that didn't update, go ahead and refresh your computer and it should update. And there should be links in the description and you can get in the call in there. There's some rules. Yeah, see, that did work. Amazing.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's amazing what happens when I do Tank's job.
Oof, oof, oof. So yes. So what are we going to talk about then, gentlemen?
Well, I guess Mortal Kombat.
Oh, damn it! Can we get no spoilers, please? I'm still desperate to see it, and because Warner Bros. Decided to be awkward, I still want to see that.
It is really weird that they're not. Are they not releasing the movie at all in UK or what?
Well, they advertised it on the internet and on TV, April 16th.
Right.
HBO Max in cinema. And I'm just like, okay, it's on HBO Max. Let me see if I can get the channel. Oh, my cable company. Nope, we can't get it. I'm like, great. What about other streaming sites? Because I've heard people who have contacts in people behind Amazon Prime, other streaming sites, trying to contact them, and Warner Brothers is basically like, who? What? Absolute nightmare. Come on now, guys. Come on now. I know, especially because I'm with Sky, and they're pretty good at getting the newest films that are meant to be in cinema. And it's like, what's so bad? I mean, come on. This is one of the most anticipated movies to come out.
I was not going to watch it. I actually didn't give a shit about it until I was watching Godzilla vs. Kong, and they showed the preview. And I was like, okay, I probably will watch this. This looks pretty dope. And I mean, it was good, as far as movies go. I still think every single movie in theater is way too overpriced, but that is what it is. Because you can't go. Yeah. I mean, you can't go. Like me and a wife, we got to the movies. We're dropping $60. By the time you get popcorn and drinks and all the shit that goes with it.
Well, I mean,
to be fair, I mean, she's a very, 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 very large woman. Tank.
Oof.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. She's not.
Yeah, she for putting 450 pounds of popcorn into a 450-pound woman is very expensive.
Yeah, I'll let Tank get in trouble with his wife.
Yeah. Well, I would say, I mean, where I live in a cinema, one of the few things I can say is going to the cinema is actually pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love to do is turn up with a bag in there full of drinks and like snacks, and just walk right in. Be like, grab my tickets and just go in.
So when back before I moved to this small town, we went to various theaters or whatever. And every single movie ticket was about, I don't know, $12, $10, $12. And then now we went to a smaller theater. It's a couple dollars cheaper, and their popcorn and candy's a lot cheaper. And it's one of these like old school two screen theaters. Like, it's very small. So I try not to sneak in candy if I can help it, because these are it's like a family owned operation. But like Regal Cinemas and all, fuck them. Stick it all in.
No. I mean, like I said, they don't stop you, so who cares? I mean, literally, like, last I went to the cinema, I think, what was it I saw? It was Sonic the Hedgehog. And literally, I got a VIP seat, which is basically a leather seat instead of a cloth seat, for like £8, which is dirt cheap. Which is actually really cheap. You just go in, sat down, go open my bag, get my get my snacks, get my drinks out, and enjoy the movie. And that was actually surprisingly decent as well. I mean, yeah, it's a bit cliched in certain aspects, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. And Jim Carrey was a good pick for Dr. Robotnik, although he's going to fill the look properly come the second movie.
Oh, God. Yeah, well, I do want to see that too. That looked, I was a huge Sonic kid growing up. I had all the, video games and stuff. And I even watched both the weird animated series they had.
Well, I don't really like Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog, aka Sally M, as it was known over here.
Yeah.
I would say this right now: Adventures of Sonic Hedgehog is like a B+ Looney Tunes knockoff.
Yeah,
but still good. And the Sonic Says segments, some of them are utterly hilarious for how, especially if you watch it in 2021 version, especially the one about sexual harassment. I mean, let me see if I can find it and I'll screen share it. Hold on.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Sonic.
I guess we're talking about obscure Saturday morning TV shows now.
Yeah. Well, this was made back in '93, and you think the first game came out in '91.
Yeah.
People forget how big Sonic was back then. I mean, I remember finding out, they did a quiz or like a study on if kids recognize cartoon characters or video game characters. More kids in '95 recognized Sonic the Hedgehog than Mickey Mouse in America.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that serious.
Oh, it was mental. I mean, and Europe as well. Sega dominated Europe back in the '90s, largely because of the sports titles. I will say, the sports titles were big over here,
right?
The FIFA games and all that, because that was the main difference between Super Nintendo and Sega Mega Drive, or Genesis, as you guys would know it as. Was that
Barker Mice from Mars? Oh my God, yeah, I do remember Barker Mice from Mars.
Biker Mice from Mars.
You remember that? I don't know.
I do know of it, yeah, but
I'll just pull the picture.
I'm old, but one of the best cartoons I liked on Sunday mornings was the Exo Squad, if I'm not mistaken, and they were fighting the mutants who were bred to be slaves on Mars, who have revolted. It's a pretty cool cartoon. That's the stuff I watched when I was young.
Okay. Speaking of which, you might let me see if I could screen share this Sonic Says segment. Let me just see. Share screen. Don't share this again. Hopefully it'll work. Now let's see if it'll share screen.
I have a share, Tank.
Yeah, let me just. Damn it. Okay, you beat me to it.
美国，这个全球最富裕的国家之一，仍面临着饥饿的困扰。在这个国家，尽管食品供应过剩，却仍有4900万美国人在挨饿。许多人无力负担健康的食物来提升生活品质。帮助美国，从现在开始。
Yeah. Nothing to say about that. Let me just see if I can share my screen.
Coming soon to a neighborhood near you.
See if this window.
Oh, Osis is on. Here we go.
Osis.
What's up? Can you hear me?
What's up? Yeah.
We got sound this time, buddy. Yep.
Okay, let me see if I can share it.
We did hear you.
I hear myself.
Oh, okay.
There's a echo though.
Okay, am I screen sharing? What the hell? Okay, it's not functioning properly. I don't know. I blame racism.
You got to get the right tab if you're trying to screen share off your browser.
Yes, I was listening to the show.
Yeah, I'm on Chrome.
Duh. Yeah, I remember Exo Squad. JT Marsh, the Neo Sapiens.
Yeah, man, that show was awesome.
Yeah.
It was.
You're close to
What do you
my
guys
age,
think?
Arthos, or a little bit older.
Hey.
I'm 37.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're a little bit younger, but still, yeah.
Question. What do you see from me?
I see Sonic sexual harassment is no good.
Okay. Right. I was just making sure. Right. Okay. Right. What I'm about to play here, I'm not joking. This was aired behind the third episode.
Yep. You got no sound though.
Oh, do I not? How the hell do I?
You're
share
a
sound?
boomer. Oh my!
You gotta when you go into screen share, you have to make sure you select the share sound.
Oh, right. Hold on. Where's the share?
Oh my
sound?
God! We're gonna
Open.
take that off until you fix
Sorry.
it there, Kiss.
The tunnel of infinity.
Sorry about that. Okay, screen share.
Mystic
Yeah,
Knight
that's it.
or Tirna Nog, Aragon says. I think those sound familiar to me, but
I do remember Biker Mice. I don't remember. Was it XEXO Squad? I don't remember that one. I think I do remember Neo Sapiens.
Right.
Neo
okay.
Sapiens were the other race in Exo Squad.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they were
Okay,
the Martians.
Okay,
No, they're
do you
not
see,
Martians.
like-
They were genetically engineered slave race.
Right, but they were basically engineered for Mars and were taking over Mars was the plot of the show, and the UN forces or whatever, the Exo Squad, were fighting back. It's really kind of a sick show if you think about it as an adult, because basically the good guys were the enslavers.
Right, exactly. Well, if I remember right, they genetically engineered the Neo Sapiens because humans could not work on Mars because it was too hot. So they basically sacrificed them to terraform Mars, and then they took over Mars, and then they revolted against the humans, and then we kicked their ass, and then they revolted again, and that was the story behind Exo Squad.
Okay, I think I should have fixed it right. So are we all ready?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Okay, you all ready?
Yeah.
Hey, fingers crossed.
That is sound, buddy.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
There's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like. But if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's no good. It's your body. No one has the right to touch you if you don't want them to. So what do? First, you say no. Then you get out of there. Most important, you gotta tell someone you trust, like your parents, your teacher, a police officer.
Well,
Oh my-
golly, I'll tell you what, Daily Motion has all the episodes of Exo Squad, it looks like.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Just imagine, you imagine a kid. Imagine watching a TV show with your kids, watching that, and then hearing this and thinking, "Okay."
Mm.
Listen,
Yes.
I have the screen share properly.
So what'd you say the other Sonic series was called? Because there was one like
It was called-
that one.
Yeah, that's known as Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
The second one that was made of this, I think, a few months later, was called Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, and it was like super dark and like a
Yeah, Yeah, it was
apocalyptic. Yeah. It was.
Yeah,
It was.
it's-
Dope. I love that one. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you'll laugh who was the voice actor for Dr. Eggman. Or sorry, Dr. Robotnik, as he was known as back then.
Who?
He was a very famous voice actor back in the day. A man called Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings.
Never heard of them.
Okay, if you ever watched like cartoons from, let's say, the late 80s to throughout the 90s, especially stuff made by Disney, you
Mhm.
recognize his voice. Like if you ever watch Aladdin, he was the head of the guards.
Oh, I see. Yeah, his IMBD's got everything on here. Okay.
Yeah, just look through all the things he's done. I think he was also the voice for Darkwing Duck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love that show
Yes.
too.
He was also the voice for Tigger and Winnie the Pooh. Trying to think what other voices he does. But yeah, that's the post-apocalyptic one. That one, as much as I do like that show, I hated the fact it ended on a massive cliffhanger, and then the show was cancelled.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those cartoons like that were that way though.
No,
Like-
what makes it worse? What makes it worse though is that I love the fact near the end of the second season, Robotnik is clearly losing it, and he's at that mental position where he would happily commit suicide if it meant Sonic died.
You remember way too much about cartoons, man.
Well, I mean, there's the rant of how much he hates him.
I mean, I was watching G.I. Joe because it was on a stream a couple weeks back. I don't remember why. It was just on. I was bored. I was like, I need a break from politics. So G.I. Joe was on the old YouTube streaming the entire series, the original series. But the whole time I'm like, man, I can't believe how bad these cartoons are. I used to love these.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that like the 80s, early 90s, they would just come out with a toy, and then a cartoon was like a 30-minute commercial that they would have for the toy. That's really all it was.
Yeah, especially Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles, and I had Dino Riders when I was a kid. It's like these robotic dinosaurs that dudes are riding.
Too, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Holly's here. Hey, Holly.
And like that cartoon show was like absolutely ridiculous. Like no plot, just laser beams and dinosaurs.
Yeah, I think that was the case also for Thundercats. Everyone just watched it for the intro, and then the episodes were just filler.
Yeah.
Yeah, He-Man and Transformers was that way too.
Oh yeah, especially Transformers.
I think Transformers came out with the toy first, and then they made the series behind it.
Wouldn't
if I
surprise
remember
me.
right.
And obviously, the original He-Man series has been parodied into a freaking song.
Transformers. You want to know about some of that history? They ripped them off from Japan, actually, directly.
Yep, that is true.
And then they had to develop basically a way to sell them in the American market. Here's the Exo Squad opening. If this is interesting to anybody.
It was a golden age for all mankind. Using the
Oh yeah, I remember this.
called E-frames, we had successfully terraformed Venus and Mars, and were poised.
This is the
Venus,
only show
what
I
a
remember
terrible-
where they killed off one of the main characters.
Suddenly, it all
It's like a similar animation to what was used for X-Men.
It was supposed to be their take on BattleTech.
by our own creations.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Neo Sapiens, a race of artificially created humans. Led by Phaeton, they have seized control of Venus, Earth, and Mars.
They were a slave race.
Yeah.
Who revolted. That's what this is about.
Well, you could argue they were the superior race, but
We were a small band of E-frame pilots dedicated to
Except for the fact that they couldn't procreate. They had no
Did you see they have their own Uncle Tim?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was Marsala.
the Exo Squad.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
He remembers.
I actually just rewatched it about 5 years ago. That's the only reason because
Oh, okay.
as a kid.
Oh man, Captain Power. Good Lord, I forgot all about that.
I never
No,
heard
Captain
that.
Planet. My God, that thing is
No,
so
this is Captain
cheesy.
Power. It's a whole nother thing, brother.
Yeah.
This was like to
Yeah.
sell tasers.
What's the best way to demonstrate these shared anxieties about the uncertain
Laser tag.
future and
Laser
potential
tag, thank you.
degradation of
Yeah.
humanity?
Yeah. I love the fact there was a
Technology?
video option for
Evolutionary
Thundercats, as I said it.
gives everyone a bunch of anxiety, comes wrapped in near future technological.
Dude, laser tag was fun back in the day when you couldn't get paintball guns.
Oh yeah, laser tag was great.
Gang, Black Star, the real Ghostbusters, Smurfs, and He-Man. and
Look at
the
that.
Masters of the
Look at
Universe.
that cutting
We also had an
edge
impressive live
technology.
Oh my God, yeah.
The 1985 Twilight Zone, Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I forgot
and
all
Friday the
about this
13th,
show.
The series.
Wow.
Larry DiTilio had written for Fat Albert and He-Man.
All right, I don't need to hear his
He's my
commentary.
bad Albert. That's all
We,
right.
we can do this though.
Holly is scolding us for skipping over Thundercats.
Well,
Sorry,
hey,
Holly.
Hey, Holly. I did mention it. Sorry, don't blame me.
This is just
I mean,
yeah, it's a strange, odd thing. We didn't even know we were going to talk about this kind of stuff, but that's what you get when Kizza comes on.
oh well, excuse me, princess. Speaking of which, do you want me to find that clip? Where that clip comes from?
Which clip?
The excuse me, princess.
Yeah, if you want to, why not? But while you're doing that, you know, it's funny because someone was on Twitter talking about trying to figure out where nostalgia comes from, right? So because we look at all these old late 80s, early 90s cartoons, we feel all this nostalgia. What causes that sensation? Why do we even have? Why do we look at a ridiculous dinosaur with laser armor from 1991 and think, oh man, that was cool as shit?
Because your life was easier then as a child, and it was fantastical, and everything was new and novel and amazing. And now you have the burdens of reality. That's why.
So you're telling me, with all your burdens of reality, if somebody pulled up in your driveway and was like, "Hey man, I want you to join this organization that uses dinosaurs with laser armor to fight other dinosaurs with laser armor," you wouldn't sign up for that?
I mean, of course I would. I mean, it'd be awesome.
Okay. Thanks. You mind if
Do I get my own
you mind if
Velociraptor? I
my
get a
screen
little
share?
like cowboy seat on the back.
Let me know when you got it pulled up.
Oh my God.
He's got it.
Yeah. Ready?
Hey, excuse me, princess. Excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me, princess.
Link's kind of a jerk, isn't he?
Excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me. Excuse me, princess. Excuse me, princess. Excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me, princess. Excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me again, princess. Excuse me, princess. Hey, excuse me, princess.
Oh, just get moving.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Hari, that did come from Steve Martin originally. That is exactly where it came from. And
You know,
I guess they made this as Link's tag thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I watched this show so much, and I did not remember this was a catchphrase.
Excuse me,
I
princess.
never watched this, so
Yeah, it was. So there was the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Excuse
Had every Friday they'd play a Zelda show. I think it was every Friday, and it was a short. I think the episodes were like 5 or 10 minutes. And yeah, and it was this basically. Yeah, that's it. And it had like live action Mario guys.
oh yeah, I remember that. It was
Yeah.
like Saturday morning stuff.
Mhm.
Like, and then later on they probably put it elsewhere. Yeah. I don't know. I was while a lot of you guys were watching this, I was either already older in like middle school or high school and you know, not involved with that stuff. So the few cartoons I watched probably in middle school were more like the Exo Squad thing. You know, which I've always been a fan of sci-fi.
You wouldn't do this, Bill, if someone showed up.
No, dude, I actually had that T-Rex. I had the toy of and I might have had the Stegosaurus too. Because my grandmother, I believe for Christmas, got me that one year. Like I didn't see my grandmother too often, even though she lived nearby, but she always got me something cool for Christmas. And yeah, I had like the big T-Rex with the lasers and all that. I mean, what kid wouldn't want that? That's awesome.
Yeah, what adult wouldn't want that, bro?
I know.
Yeah, oops, I had myself muted. What I was going to say is, speaking of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show thing, do you know who you'll laugh? Who was the live action persona for Mario?
He was. I know he's famous for something else, but I don't remember what it
Big
was.
Lou something or something like
Yeah,
that.
King Lou, who was a famous wrestler from like the 80s. Like
Oh,
70s and 80s.
okay, yeah.
And I think
Huh.
he passed away in 2010. I think,
King Lou.
or Captain Lou, or something like that. That's it. It was Captain Lou, I think.
All right, random facts. Anybody else want to come in and talk about anything at all? We're just kind of hanging out. That's kind of the idea of the Sunday stream, at least for now. And you guys want to come in? Come in.
Well, at least I know how to screen share now, ladies and gentlemen. And now I know.
Now, after
And
all
now
the time you spent on Yiz's show, you don't know how to screen share.
Well. To be fair, I'm not the one sharing stuff, so.
I know. I get it.
And to be fair, we're on Restream, so you can't really do that.
Well, they have some sort of screen share option over there, I thought, but I don't know. I don't even know how to get an avatar on.
Yeah.
Stream.
You got a lot of what you have to do. You have to have OBS on, and you have to put in a virtual webcam on, and therefore you can put up like a profile pic.
This is
Rather
why
than looking
Don
like-
told me it was way too complicated. So
Yeah.
It's a little annoying, yes, but
Yeah.
hey, what can you do? I mean, this is where we need the ultimate streaming thing, where everything is super customizable and super easy to procreate.
looks like
Hey,
Holly
give me-
might be coming in here in a minute. She says
Oh,
she's trying to
please do,
set up her
please
ancient cam.
You don't have to come on webcam. It's all right.
Yeah, you can just do audio if you need. If it's easier, Holly.
Exactly.
Osis, you got anything, man? Because I know.
No, I was just going to ask you about UFC. I saw some highlights. That guy Yuri Prokovac or whatever his name is looks pretty legit.
That dude murdered last night. Let me
That's what
pull
I
up
saw. Yuri Prohavac, or I don't remember.
That's not how you pronounce his name.
Yeah,
I don't know how you
I
quite
never
pronounce
even
it.
heard of him until like 10 hours ago.
Well, because he's only had one other fight in the UFC, which he
Yeah.
murdered in as well.
Prohashka.
But he will be
He's legit.
fighting for the title here as soon as that gets settled in the next few weeks. So let me try to get this up, man.
Who was he fighting for before UFC?
He was fighting around. He's Czech, so it's hard to say. There's a lot of organizations. I don't know enough about him myself. Wait, what happened here?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt
Here we go.
Damon.
I'm so disappointed with those two. They've pushed out.
I think it's pronounced Prohaska, something like that. I heard it last night, but
Prohaska.
But yeah, he fought Dominic Reyes, and Reyes has been a boogeyman for a very long time. Reyes jacked up John Jones pretty good. No, he didn't beat John Jones, but he gave him a run for his money, and he did stuff to him that other people weren't able to. And he just got dominated. He got held, thrown down over and over again, beat up, and then finally knocked out with a spinning elbow. And I mean, knocked out, fell flat as a board, like, you know, let the board go.
Yeah, he was a sack of potatoes for sure.
Yeah, yes, sir. So that was a pretty cool fight last night. I know every time I get in the Jeremy and Delaney stream, they're like, "Did you watch the fights? Or did you watch? I don't know if you were here Saturday or not." And I'm like, "No, I'm never in your show on Saturday unless it's not fights. I'm busy." And it's literally, for me anymore, it's the one time I get out of the house and do something, you know, for myself, hang out with the homies, because I'm basically home, you know, doing stuff around the house, running errands, doing whatever all the
You go
time.
to the bar and watch, or you go to a friend's house?
Yeah, I go to a friend's house. We used to do Buffalo Wild Wings, but you end up spending like $100 because you're drinking and eating, right? And it's cheaper. He has ESPN Plus. We go over there and hang out, do our own thing. I bring over snacks. He buys the pay-per-view fights. So it kind of evens out. Last night I got some pizza. My wife wanted pizza, and I was like, yeah, I figured because she hasn't come in a while either. And I was like, I figured if you're coming, something more substantive than like meat and cheese and some dips that I usually bring. Which we never got into because we ate pizza. But yeah, it's a good, you know, good 6 hour, 8 hour chunk of my every week is just doing that, unless there's not a fight that weekend.
That's about the only sports I'll watch anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's that or politics for me. So,
yeah, I would say, what the F is going on? Like, Logan Paul gets a match with Mayweather. Like, really?
Money, dude. It's all about, this is just all money.
No, I just want to know. Logan, serious question. How sore are your knees? No, seriously. How sore are your knees?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the thing. You know, you get, if you get famous somewhere else, and then you go into boxing or whatever, and then you've got the pull.
Well, I mean, he's fucking based in LA. He's, you know, I think he had some deal with Disney. I don't know. I know he was famous from Vine before coming over to YouTube.
Right.
And obviously, he happily abused the living crap out of the algorithms. You know, when YouTube's algorithms were really, really sketchy. And yeah, I mean, last time he was in the ring, he's technically 0 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'd love to know how sore his knees are.
Hey, so you know Kamzat, right? Chimaev?
Vaguely.
Okay, well, Kamzat came in the UFC last year during all the lockdown stuff and just started slaughtering dudes. And literally, he's been hit 3 times, and it was basically like a guy like hitting him like this over the shoulder. It was nothing. He's been touched 3 times, completely dominated all of his fights, and then he was supposed to fight. Oh crap, was it Leon Edwards? I think it was Leon Edwards a few months ago, back in December. But Edwards got the coof. And then Chimaev got the coof, and then I guess he was having breathing-related problems afterwards. So he was talking about retiring, but I guess he's doing better now. I think this guy has lived through civil war and whatever else in Eastern Europe and bombing.
Chechnya.
Yep, he's Chechnyan, and he's tough as hell, and I think it's the first time he's ever felt his mortality. So I don't know, but he should be coming back. But he's been a powerhouse too. In the 3 fights he's had, got a lot of hype behind him, and some people think it's just hype. But when you can take apart skilled guys and not even get hit, and I mean, with UFC, we're talking about the highest level that there is, basically. People come up out of
pride's
nowhere.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I remember correctly, they didn't test for steroids in Pride, so that was a whole different kind of ball game.
Yeah, they could also knee you in the head when you were downed, which I really like.
They could kick you in the face if you were down.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, I mean, how in rugby, like kneeing somebody in the head is an illegal move.
Yeah. That's what they should do, though. Just make UFC like you could take all the steroids you want, whatever, and just see what happens.
Well, I mean, technically, in the early days, you could blatantly tell someone a steroid and they wouldn't bother testing them.
Yeah.
Look at when we had Kit on, he talked about that. We were talking about Vanderlei Silva and his ferocity in the gym, because some of those guys, those old school guys, basically fought every day in the gym like they would in a title fight.
Yeah,
which is stupid. It's absolutely insane. It's a great way to break your body down and to be very, very riddled with arthritis and just be crippled when you're old. But guys do it. Guys do it.
Yeah.
And Vanderlei Silva, 2 things happened to him. He quit taking roids because he couldn't, and he lost his chin. And after that, you just don't have a career. And before that, he was just sleeping guys with head kicks and stuff. So.
I would say when you talk about being crippled, I mean, all I can think of is Kurt Angle. I know he was in UFC, but Jesus Christ, the amount of punishment he put himself through, and he was on freaking. I mean, have you heard how much painkillers he was on at one point?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I think he said on record, I think it was on the Stone Cold podcast, he said, and I quote, he was taking as many as 65 painkillers a day.
God almighty. That's
right. Tank, just check real quick. We have anybody backstage trying to come in, or you?
We do not.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, like, my God. Like, when's a gold medal with a broken freaking neck and was within an inch of ending up in a wheelchair?
Well, the thing about it, too, is you hear about all these guys that made it big, like, Kurt Angle and, some of these other, like, UFC guys that made it big, had great careers, and you find out they had to take a bunch of painkillers. There's a lot of guys that didn't make near that big that are dealing with the same kind of consequences. When I was, doing MMA, like, for fun, there's guys that were taking it serious. They were 21, 22. They'd sleep 4 hours a night so they could work their jobs and come in and train all the time. And I mean, they lose their first 2 pro fights. And they still keep trying to, like, one day I'm going to, it's like dudes playing guitar and trying to be rock stars. These guys like absolutely get demolished all the time, and they got nothing to show for it, and now they're on painkillers like that. So it's kind of shitty.
So good.
I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, that's why I don't advocate like hardcore training like that. I'm very wary of gyms I walk into and who I'm training with. And you'll see a lot of folks like, they'll go, oh man, you're not really like there are ways you can change the output or level of the sparring that it could be safer, but also be a good, useful training aid. And a lot of schools don't do that. They just kind of let guys go at it. And I think often a lot of coaches just, well, as long as they agree upon each other, they're going to take their head off, then it's fine with me. And in the end, man, that's a short-lived career as an individual, as a human. I think that's more important than maybe one day I'll make it in the UFC or somewhere in the fight circuit, which, by the way, is probably not going to pay out. Your odds are very, very low. I'm not saying don't go for your dreams, but look at what most of the guys do who are champions now. Most of the guys are former wrestling stars from college. They've gotten into kickboxing or something like that, or they've grown up in martial arts like me and just willing, like someone like Paul Felder, who's been doing it forever, started off doing like Taekwondo type stuff and went to the more combative side of things with the MMA. But we see that And I'd say Paul Felder's probably doing all right, but he's one of those guys that kind of rose to the top. I don't think he was going to make a career out of it. A lot of guys aren't trying to make a career out of it. They just love fighting. I know Demetrius Johnson, the UFC kicked him basically because he didn't really care to make a career out of it because he never promoted himself. He was more into playing video games and his family. And I think Demetrius did a good job of he would go up train where he trained at, and he'd come back home and kept things very separate. And it was all about building up his skill level and not breaking himself down. So Holly says in the chat there's supposed to be razor wire on the first UFC cage.
Wouldn't surprise me. What makes me laugh is that back in the early 2000s, WWE, Vince McMahon could have brought out UFC, but didn't.
Well, and the thing is with that is, even though wrestling is fake, those guys do take a lot of abuse themselves. But they make way more money generally on average, at least after their whole ECW war and all that stuff, because that took a long time for them in the WWE to get things settled. But
the first one to really make big bucks, if memory serves, was really Hulk Hogan. He was the one who really started rolling in the money. Because back then, being a wrestler, it was like working a job at McDonald's for how shit it was for pay. Until basically all the promoters and that came in, and then they started building all the money up.
Yeah, them guys had kind of rough lives. They drove around in circuits, did local things, and
oh hell yeah! Some of the stories I hear about back in those eras, like Jesus Christ, that was mental. Like I think the maddest story was, I'm not sure if you guys ever watched Jake the Snake on the Joe Rogan podcast.
I watched his documentary, about him. Yeah.
I saw that.
Well, he's talking about when he was being a proper heel, and I'm surprised if anyone doesn't know, heel means a bad guy. And he basically said you could do the most utterly despicable things, and if the crowd utterly hated you to the point where they'll actively try to kill you, you were on top point. So much so that somebody actually pulled out a gun on him.
Yeah, I suggest go watching the documentary on the Harts, because their whole family was instrumental in bringing up the WWE, the former WWF, and if you like,
they were actually like catch wrestlers, right? Like they were legit.
Yeah, like his dad was a legitimate catch catch can wrestler. Which takes out all the theatrics and makes it real and painful. And people don't understand the art of catch wrestling. A lot of what came of Japanese jiu-jitsu and shuto fighting, which is what Pride was originally, was from catch wrestling. That's why guys like Josh Barnett have always said they've been catch wrestlers. But shuto kind of got replaced with the BJJ crave with the marketing through UFC, essentially, because the Gracies owned UFC originally. And of course, after everyone figured out how to wrestle and how to deal with jiu-jitsu, guess what? Most fights go right back to stand-up, because once you understand how not to get taken down, you don't want to get taken down.
Yeah.
Always the way, but
one of my old BJJ coaches was a catch wrestler. Before that, he actually trained with some of those guys. I'm not going to give him away because I'll dox myself. But yeah. And he was trying to get it. He's trying to get it, like, bring life back into the art, because if you're going to take submission wrestling, most people are going to take BJJ and not catch wrestling. He's like, look, dude, catch wrestling is cool. In a lot of ways, he's not going to say it's superior to BJJ, because he's also a BJJ brown belt or black belt now, I think. But he's like, look, man, like, they've got some stuff, and it's nasty. They got some nasty shit.
It is way nasty, because I've done way more catch wrestling than I have BJJ, and I can tell you, if I go to a BJJ gym, because I would only be a white belt anywhere. I've never been promoted above that, but I'm just saying, if I went into a gym, the guys are like, "You've done this before. You did it," and it's like mostly catch wrestling, but I know how to deal with the basic stuff. And in any case, Holly, I know you have some experience, because you did Muay Thai for a long time. I don't know about your wrestling background, but if you want to come in, I see you have met the Hart family. You want to tell us about the impact of those folks in your nation? Because I know for a long time it was a big deal for Canada, having the Harts there and having the WWE World Champion. And of course, the history of that's interesting too, because supposedly for real they did Bret Hart dirty and gave the belt to Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. The Montreal Screwjob, as it's known as, and
yeah.
Well, let's just say that was a massive legal freaking elastic legal cluster, considering the amount of contract crap that was in regarding that whole deal. I mean, people don't. Right. I mean, people talk about the Montreal Screwjob, but people don't understand the amount of legal crap that was in it, because contractually speaking, Bret Hart had it in his contract that he would never lose to Shawn Michaels in Montreal, and Vince broke that. So technically, Bret could sue the crap out of him. It was so bad that even the locker room leader straight up told Vince, "Go back and apologize to Bret." And we all know who the locker room leader is.
Well, Shelly, thanks for showing up. We're not really talking about anything. We're just gonna, having a chill stream today, because that's kind of what we want to do on Sundays. We talk about whatever. But once again, guys, the link is in the description if you do want to call in. We kind of want to limit the number of people, but if the conversation's not, a bunch of people talking over each other, it's not a big deal to bring in an extra person or so.
I think most people here would tend to be polite anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. The one fool that was on the show we've talked about, we're not going to suffer him again for various reasons. So, but Tank was trying to get some drama going. So,
I mean, not to re-suffer him, but I really found it interesting that when people say things like conspiracy theories, or the conspiracy theorists are, the biggest threat to our society, or even a meaningful threat to our society. I just really wanted to know where he was coming from with that, and of course, it never got there because of how it is. But that's a pretty. Whenever someone brings it up, I want to talk. I want to know where they're coming from on that.
Understood. He wasn't.
I mean, you're right.
He wasn't arguing on his position in the first place, man. Which is my whole thing. Like you're trying to frame the debate. Anytime we try to reframe it, or I'm trying to define terms, you want to frame it back to where it's at, or you want to use ad hominems and all that other stuff. So it just let's not.
Yeah, I mean,
I have no desire to entertain that. It'd be like having Voldemort on the show, as I've said before.
Oh God!
He's never, in my opinion, ever going to come on this show. Maybe I'll change my mind like 17 years from now if I have, a million subs. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's for Voldemort. That's the Voldemort. I know. I mean, I know exactly 3 questions I need to ask him.
Yeah, is it the same questions that the bridge troll asked in Monty Python?
I have not seen that, but let's just say the last time I asked someone of a similar political persuasion as Voldemort these 3 questions. Let's just say, welcome he is. Hello there.
Hi, how are you guys doing this Sunday?
Hey, what's up?
We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
I been working on stuff around the house and trying to feel better. I felt kind of sick the last few days. I've had I think it's seasonal, but today I'm finally feeling better, so I got out and walked around a little bit. When I got settled, I saw you guys doing the call-in show, so I figured I'd hop on and say howdy.
Hey. I was about to say, is China trying to cancel you? Is China trying to cancel you?
Sure, yeah, probably. What are you guys jawing about? What's
all
the topic?
Kinds of stuff. I mean, nothing important.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you missed the bit where I asked how sore are Logan Paul's knees?
I don't know enough about Logan Paul to even get that joke or what you're talking about.
Well, they announced the years like 2 days ago that Logan Paul will be facing Floyd Mayweather in a exhibition match.
So who the hell are either of those people? Who are those?
So Diaz, there's a sport that came out a couple hundred years ago called boxing. Perhaps
I'm vaguely familiar with that.
Okay, yeah. I was just gonna say Floyd's like an.
I'm old, so my people call it the sweet science.
Oh yeah. So with a rambunctious fist, as you could call it, there was a short guy from America, black guy. I think it was it welterweight, Bill, the weight he fought at.
Yeah, he's like the size of a 12-year-old.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
basically, he started out in the late 98.
Are you guys talking about professional boxing or what is it?
Yeah,
what are you getting at? Who fought who now? I was doing something else.
He's talking about the size of Mayweather. Is he a welterweight?
I'd have to look it up, man, but that sounds about right. I don't follow. I haven't followed boxing in years, really.
Neither have I. Either way,
there's reasons. They boxing's gay because they touch you literally. If you touch someone with your glove, that's a point. It doesn't matter about how much damage you do or anything like that.
Jab. I mean, my favorite video. Actually, could I just find my favorite video on boxing?
No, I love training boxing. I think boxing training's great. But Tank, pull up what I have because Kizza said something, and I can't believe it. You're an Englishman. You've never seen this?
Hold on.
Oh, right.
Oh, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
That's what I said, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about another Monty Python. Yeah. I didn't realize I was making a Monty Python reference there. It's been a while since I watched that.
5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions. Play cross in safety. What if you get a question wrong? Then you are cast into the gorge of eternal peril.
Oh, it's lightweight. Sorry, my mistake, Raphael. I do apologize.
Well, regardless, what brought up the boxing thing, Kizza? What are you talking about, or what did you want me to hear?
Oh no! We were just talking about UFC, and I just mentioned about Logan Paul with how he's got an exhibition match with Mayweather. I'm saying he must have had really sore knees. He must have the sorest knees mankind has ever seen.
I still don't get that joke, or what you're. Why would he have sore knees? Is it a fellatio joke? Like, what are we talking?
I'm pretty sure it's a fellatio joke.
But why? Because I don't know who those people are or why I should
Logan
care.
Paul. Logan Paul was big on Vines, and they went to YouTube, I think. So he's basically like a YouTube guy.
Well, the Paul brothers are but they're like a million sub YouTubes. Logan Paul got in trouble for filming a hanging body in a Japanese forest. If you guys don't recall, he still has a channel.
So are these in the like YouTube celeb category, like Ethan and iDubbbz and all those guys?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't follow those people, and I just don't give a shit. I don't care.
I know, but I'm trying to find a clip of the hilarious boxing match. Sorry, don't know what the hell.
I see we have Osis on here too. Osis has been quiet.
Yeah, he does that.
Hi, Osis.
I only chime in when necessary. I like that.
Okay.
What the hell is it?
But if you have any topics, yes, we are free to explore anything. We're just kind of hanging out. The main thing that Tank and I are kind of try to figure out is how we want to operate this. It's more about being consistent so we can get more viewers in. Right now, it's just kind of open discussion show, open chat.
Well, I want to hear these 3 questions Kizza has. I'm curious what they are.
Sure, let's hear them.
Well, first of all, to Voldemort. Secondly of all, do you not support private property rights?
Okay.
I don't think he does, right? Because
he would say personal property.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about Voldemort, the neckbeard bread tuber. That yes. I don't use his name on my show.
Yeah, I don't ever want to. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, he's not a genuine person.
No,
I mean, if he says personal property, I'm like, no. There's no such thing. There is either private and public. Do you support private? Do you not support private property rights whatsoever? In which case, he'll be forced to say yes or no.
See, I don't argue with people like that. Like, if I have a discussion with somebody like that far into the communism or whatever, I just shoot them in the face. Because there's no discussion with people like that. Like,
exactly.
And it's a stretch to even call folks like that people.
Oh my God.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. They are mortally challenged.
Mortally challenged.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, demon can be an offensive term. Please use the term mortally challenged.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's from Eternal, isn't it?
Yes, Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
Arguably the best game come out last year.
But no, joking aside, I was, of course, kidding about shooting people in the face. What I meant was, I think that when it comes to someone who is an obvious contentious or grifter type who just wants to exist to antagonize, or someone who is so ideologically down the anti-human hole as someone like, I don't know, like Hassan Piker or somebody like that.
Right.
I think it's a complete waste of effort to even bring them up or talk about them or humor what they have to say, because we're in completely different veins of society and we're total enemies. So I just don't see the point in arguing or talking with them.
For me, this is like a Christian principle. It's pretty simple as you don't cast your pearls before swine. Christ
Yeah.
said that for a reason. It says, and if you do so, that they will drag you down with them and trample over you. Meaning, whatever you have that's precious to say, they'll just destroy you with it. And we can find the same principle sort of applied to the church within the church in 1 Corinthians when Paul talks about ejecting the individual in the church that was having sexual affair with his father's wife or formerly wife, whatever it was.
The holy men in the priestly class have lost their way and have not been good role models for a very long time, because when you look, especially in America, Canada, places in the Anglosphere, I think we can blame a lot of this on the state shaping the Anglican Church over time. But I think that when it comes to the cancerous rot that I've seen on the religious side of things, being a Southern Christian type person, it seems like we've had a lot of the long march through the institution ideology infect Baptists and Methodists and all the Christian sects here in America, where they're way too tolerant and accepting of things that they should put their foot down and eject instead of accept.
Well, even James Lindsay talks about it. James Lindsay has talked about how the church is infiltrated. The Southern Baptist Convention is infiltrated with leftism and wokeism.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. It has been a long march, and part of that is because we don't eject people out of the church. What we do is we say, and what's been going on in the last couple of decades is we want a seeker-friendly church. We just want to bring people in. We don't want to tell them about sin. That's like the Joel Osteen type people. I don't even want to talk about anything bad. I just want to talk about how God loves you. Well, I'll tell you what, man. The part of having love is having balance and justice and fairness, and so you can't just accept everybody who's acting.
Yeah, and I keep it even more simple than that. I just talk about it in regards to just basic market forces.
Right.
Something that is available to everyone and has no bar of entry has no value, because exclusivity and rarity is what breeds value. And if it's like the whole, if everybody's a racist doesn't mean anything. If anybody gets to be a part of the same flock of a church, and if everybody's the same and everything gets forgiven, then what's the point of sin and trying to be a good person and all that?
Yeah, that's a pretty good point.
Yep, and this is why there should be cut-off clauses in law and in terms of human rights, which is why I'm unique to most people and say human rights should not be universal.
Yeah, I think that everything about what is enshrined in a community or state or church or whatever, whenever people create a community and have a charter and a list of rules, things that they want to protect and safeguard, like our Bill of Rights, that kind of thing, it shouldn't be so magnanimous that anyone of any stripe can come and just be a part of that, because, again, then it devalues what you've built. It devalues what you're trying to protect and achieve. And, again, I believe in the natural order of things. So I'm not after any type of racial or ethnic or religious purity, but I do think that the natural order of things shows that homogenous groups are the most successful. Socially enforced monogamy, a homogenous belief set, mostly homogenous people, with a small amount of integration and acceptance of different things, of a minuscule amount to where anything that becomes part of your group or church or state or whatever has to conform to socially be a part of what's going on. And we've lost our way with that 50 or 60 years ago. And I think it's the same rot that you see in society that you do in religion right now.
Yeah, it's so the other day on All Minus One, I started reading his impromptu. I started reading George Washington's farewell address, and I was going to try and get back to it Friday, but I probably will cover it Monday for sure. But these are the things that he talks about, that even though there's slight variations within the society, we're generally homogenous, and we were then, and how that needed to be guarded jealously, and how we, in order to keep the nation, we were going to have to do that. Otherwise, factions and outside forces would tear us apart. And he even warned about the difference between the North and the South and the East and the West. Now, back then they didn't have a West Coast, but still, the idea that foreign agencies could come in and influence the West at the time, the Western boundaries, very important stuff. And we just do not have that, which is why we're going to balkanize, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, it's looking like we're headed towards something very unpleasant. That's why I'm encouraging people to, we look like we're going to have inflation, so I'm encouraging people to use their equity or whatever wealth they have to transfer into non-monetary things, namely heavy metals. And by heavy metals, of course, I mean lead and firearms. And I think that it's wise at this point to start currying favor with whom you can in person and building strong communities that can actually survive apart from the state, apart from corporations, apart from large logistic chains, because I genuinely think that within our lifetimes, we're going to see a breakdown of all of those things. And the better prepared we are, both socially, religiously, personally, health-wise, and all that, the better chance we have of having some kind of society that we would want our kids to grow up in when all this is said and done.
Yeah, I agree with you, Yiz, and that's kind of always been, Take and I've talked about, in part, the big goal of this show is to build this community of folks, and we all do it, right? You do it on your show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jeremy and Delaney do it on their show. Don does his.
Yeah.
People that we talk to regularly.
And even our good old Matt Christensen, he encourages people to meet up in person and maintain connections and buy from people that are friendly, that kind of thing.
And if you're traveling through Bozeman and you get a hold of Matt, he will meet you. He will have dinner with you.
Yeah, but Bozeman's that's far. I would swing by if I could, but it's far.
Yeah. Well, I would love to, because I know,
well, hey, maybe one day after your child's born and things are more settled, maybe we'll take a road trip up there and go visit Matt.
Right. Well, there'd have to be some reason why I'd be passing through, which is I don't really know why I'd be passing through Bozeman.
It's good. You'll think of something, all right? We're used to innovating and thinking on the spot.
Well, I am glad to see Matt. It seems to be he's starting to pick up on the idea of getting out into the countryside, and he's getting a little bit more, I think, practical than just ideas. And ideas and ethics are very important. I mean, I preach them all the time. But
we're at the point now to where we have to do more than that, or we ain't going to survive.
Right. We have to be practical. So I don't know, Tank. Where you just sitting there, man?
I'm just listening. I'm because I've been thinking about this a lot too, about as Yiz was speaking, about meeting people in person and everything. We've said this a lot, and it's very true. But I think it's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah,
like even me, I moved to a smaller town. Not that I was in a big city or anything, but I moved to a smaller town, and I guess I know my neighbors more, but not on the level that I would like to. And it's hard to and some of these guys are pretty. You go talk to them, you start talking about things that we talk about in these shows, and they're gonna look at me like I've got two faces.
Well, I mean, I talk about this on my channel a lot. The kind of shit that we talk about online, talking about, globalism and anti-white narrative and communism and all this sort of shit and the decay of the church. This isn't the kind of shit you talk to with regular folks where you live. The way that you build community, the way that I've been telling people to do it, is you keep things simple, like they say in the military, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, all that. What you do is you have normal issues that are easy to talk to rural, good old working class people and farmers and shit about. You talk to them about church, their kids, the big things that are on TV and radio, and you couch it in a way where it's kind of a soft negative. You'd be like, man, did you see that so-and-so? Like, man, I can't believe what a baseball's become. Or can you believe what a joke NFL is now? That kind of shit. And that way you can easily break the ice with local folks and gauge their reaction and see if they're willing to talk about how much things have gone to shit. And out here rural where I live, 9 times out of 10, people just have that shit bottled up, ready to talk about it. Yeah. And then once they get talking, you can just be like, yeah, man, I feel the same. You and your family, where you guys go to church, or, I hear gunfire over the ridge a lot. You guys go out and shoot. Is that you guys I hear shooting skeet or hunting over there? You guys do target practice or something? And you learn what people do around you in your rural area, and you find what they want to talk about. And then you approach them in that. And that way you can build a small thread of connection and hopefully do something with them in person. Maybe invite them and their family to have dinner with your family. Or if let's say you have a job where maybe you're a lawnmower or you're a plumber or something like that. You can make small talk about the kind of work that you do and ask, hey, I'm doing A, B, C, D, and E for a living. What do you do? And then maybe you guys can share trade together or share clients together and get better networked in your local area, providing goods and services back and forth to each other. And this is what we need to be building. We have to start building not just community, but trade and sympathy and lines of connection and family support cross community in our local rural areas, because that is, in my opinion, is the only way that we can really have some kind of future when localism versus globalism comes to a head and everybody's got to fight and pick sides.
Right. And here's another thing that has to be understood. We're sitting here, we're kind of the prophets right now, guys. We're the people who are seeing ahead in the future and understand what's going on.
Yeah.
You have to expect a lot of folks are just going to be completely unaware. So it's incumbent on us to start getting prepared and to make these preparations and groups, and later on have availability to folks that wake up, because people will wake up, and they are waking up. A lot of people have been waking up. But we need to understand that we're the leadership. And the reality is that that's what we are going to be in this future coming world, because if they're going to hunt down everyone for their politics or for the wrong thing, then people are going to need a place of safe haven.
And I'd like to address something I see in chat. Danny Torrance says, "Community in question in quotation marks. Heh, I hear what you're saying, but we have none." No, that's not true. You might have none, Danny. You might have none. I'm not talking about some ubiquitous, widespread community where we're going to build a new America and millions of people are all going to be marching to the same beat. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about localism. For the most part, people who don't want Globo Homo, who don't want Drag Queen Story Hour, and who don't want all this anti-white lunacy, most folks like that in America are kind of the same religiously, racially, linguistically, culturally, but we don't have to be networked together. We just have to be able to survive the storm. And if one place gets busted up, there needs to be lots of other communities where they can go to if stuff goes bad. That's why I promote localism in the stuff that I talk about. I'm talking about building small communities on the local that eventually start to network with ham radio and personal logistics and shit like that, because we got professional truck drivers, plumbers, builders, repair people. We got folks that are into homeschooling. We got, millions of us are home builders. We got lots of women that want to be mothers, that want to be school teachers, that want to be nurses. And these folks, they can all network together on the small. You don't have to be a part of a massive hospital or a corporate chain or a logistic truck network to apply your trade on the local level. What we need to do is start currying these ideas locally to as many people as we can in small areas apart from these big cancerous cities. And I think that is how we're going to start building planting the seeds that we need to grow from whatever these ashes are going to be from when this all comes to a head.
Right. And some of the people that I speak with who are doing these, they're trying to build their own communities and stuff kind of off the grid. Part of my bigger ideal is just like sort of what you hinted at there, is building some networks. Yes, we need to focus locally, but then we can go elsewhere if we need, or we can send people somewhere who, maybe need a safe haven for a little bit. Maybe they have family they can go stay with, but as they travel on, they need a place to stay. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, this is all spitballing because we don't know how things will go. I mean, I doubt it. I doubt that the federal government's going to suddenly change its mind and turn around or anything. It's most likely it's going to keep going leftward. So this is the way we're having to think, and it's better to start thinking about it now and understanding that we have a little bit of time to prepare than to be caught with our pants down 10 years from now.
And I'd like to remind everybody listening is even in the early Soviet Union, even when post-Weimar Republic, things started to become shit and really authoritarian with what the Third Reich did to Germany and all the places that were basically hellscapes, right? Like during the World War II, life went on. People grew crops, people traded, people made paintings, people went to church. Life even happened during that era in a lot of places where you could basically avoid the war unless the war came to you. And I don't think that we're going to even see land war like that again. We're going to see corporate war, ideal war, trade war. And the way that I think we can weather the storm, so to speak, is by having lots and lots of communities that are largely, if not totally, self-sufficient and want to educate their own kids away from all this, federal education crap. And I think that is the best thing that we can promote and do ourselves to give people a better chance at having a stable future instead of just wanting to become drones in the cyberpunk dystopia.
Yeah, well, I'm working on this book right now that if it's done by the end of the year, it's going to get into all this stuff in a fun narrative way. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's been about an hour. I've got to get dinner started, so we're going to cut the stream off.
Okay.
But but thanks everyone for coming out. and we're gonna do this every Sunday. Bill, if you want to give the spiel.
Yeah, well, like I said, thank you guys for coming on. Yeah, Danny, I'm glad you found us too. We appreciate it. We're trying to grow the channel. We've been doing it for, I don't know, 8 months now, and slowly growing because YouTube does YouTube analytics stuff that's crazy. Thanks, Yiz, for showing up. Osis for the little bit you've said, and Kizza.
I know.
We're still trying to figure the show out. We're not trying to run a huge long stream, hour and a half. We've gone 2 hours, but Tank and I both have stuff going on Sundays, and we have this little period. So we want to kind of have a call-in show, like I said. Yiz, again, appreciate your wisdom and all that you do. Go ahead.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you letting me come on and talk with you guys.
Yeah, go ahead and plug yourself in case anyone's listening who doesn't know who you are.
Okay. Let's see. I have a channel a lot of places. You can find me by the name Yiz the Eunuch at YouTube, Odyssey. I have a BitChute, but it hasn't been letting me upload the last few months. It's been a real jerk about that, so I just sort of gave up on BitChute.
It's sexist. That's what it is.
I put the link to my YouTube channel here in the YouTube chat. I also have a D Live, and I stream on Monday nights and Friday afternoons, American time. And you misspelled it, Bill. But
of course I did, because I can't spell anything.
You can find me on Monday nights. I have a comedy variety show called Dragons of Discord, where I pretend that we have to explain Clown World to fantasy dragons from fantasy worlds like D&D. And on Fridays, I have a show called The Corner Club, where it's a more serious discussion format where I bring on other creators to either talk about their work or just have a focused conversation about important things. So that's on Mondays and Fridays over on my channel. And I occasionally make other stuff too. So that's enough of me flapping my gums. I'll turn it back to you guys.
Oh, no worries.
So, I mean, actually, speaking of the Monday show, Yiz, am I correct in thinking we do have a very special guest for Monday?
Tomorrow night, Aiden Paladin's going to be on Dragons of Discord tomorrow night.
Awesome. Oh, yes. Yeah, she does some great psychological work.
Yeah, she's cool. She does a good data analysis.
Yeah, I'm in the process of getting her on our show. Actually, I was just in the Twitters. So
she's really fun to talk to. I'm glad that she's willing to come on and chat with me occasionally. She also likes the format of Dragons of Discord, so she said she'll be a regular guest on it. So
I can't wait for that.
Every month or two, we can expect to have her back.
Well, thankfully, I have an extended weekend, so I'm able to do this despite being on what I should be morning shift. But also, yes, I am doing a bit of networking to try and get a couple of guests on for future shows on Corner Club.
Sounds good. Just hit me up privately.
No worries. One of them is a big guest, and I know you've talked with him, but I'm trying to get him on as well.
Sounds good. Just let me know privately or talk to me in the Discord server.
Will do. Yeah, just hoping it's just a question of scheduling for one of them. The other one's a very small creator, which I am trying to work out a good time for all of us to do Corner Club.
Sounds good. Well, I'll see you guys either this Wednesday or next weekend.
All right. See you. Guys, if you aren't aware, I got my other channel, All Minus One, as well. I started live streaming there by myself. If you want to hear me ramble by myself for 2 hours about what I think is important today or tomorrow or whatever, and some historical and philosophical perspectives on all of these things, then you can go over there and check me out. I have a pretty big catalog for someone who's only been doing this for a year of back videos. And right now I'm going to focus on live streaming, like I said. So I'm doing that at 3 p.m. I should be doing that on 3 p.m. Eastern most days. Otherwise, you can find us here at the Ends Justify the Memes at 7 p.m. every Wednesday. And this Wednesday, we are going to have Sniper on. Sniper had a meetup of some of these things that we were talking about in Utah about building these communities just recently. So we'll talk to him a little bit about that, what he can, for however long Sniper can stay, because he's got a bunch of people in his house and things get rowdy. It's how it goes. But every Wednesday at 7 p.m., the Ends Justify the Memes, we are there. And then on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern, we will try and do these kind of more chill call-in shows. So with all that said, guys, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. This has been the Ends Justify the Memes. And remember, the ends always justify those memes. Play the outro, bud.